Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Helena.
And I'm Kelly.
And we are Speaker Insight, where we help speakers, authors, and coaches to really build a business on your terms. And we are welcoming you today. It's been a bit of a sobering kind of start to the week, but we're going to do the traditional stuff and just let you all come and play. So if you are watching this as a hashtag replay, please pop that in the comments below, because we do enjoy hearing whenever you're doing this, even if it's a year down the line, because, you know, we get the knowledge that we need when we need it, or at least we can access it as and when you want to. So please do put the hashtag replay in there. That would be amazing. We're going to kick off with the buzz in our business. And of course, we would love for you to tell us your buzz in the business. So, you know, if you've got awards coming up, you've launched something, you've done something, you're feeling proud of something, whatever it is that's happening in your business that you want to celebrate or share, which includes a little link in, you know, to whatever it is.
Time for promo, right?
Yeah, you know, we really do enjoy hearing what you're up to, because you really are change makers. You really are people who are, as speakers, authors, and coaches, you have chosen to be a voice for the many. Whatever arena or industry you're in, you are the people who choose to kind of, if you like, put your heads above the parapet. And as that old saying goes, although I don't like it very much, but, you know, that whole you're choosing to be seen, you're choosing to stand out for the message that you have. And so we really do welcome you here and share what you are up to.
Taruna and Brian are saying hi, so say hi, and if you're watching us on the replay, just put hashtag replay so we know that you're watching it later on.
Exactly. So the buzz in our business, because we're always going to kick off with that, is that the Connect and Create Day is coming up. So for those of you who don't know, we have a group called the Connection Hub, where speakers, authors, and coaches actively gather and talk to each other, connect with each other, get opportunities, share call outs that they actually have for each other. It's a really brilliant and vibrant place where the conversation takes place, right?
I think at the moment we've had like over 150 opportunity posts, which are where people are looking for speakers to speak on their stages, people to go on their podcasts.
It's amazing.
So if you're looking for more exposure, go and search the hashtag opportunity in the group.
Which would be a really good thing. Now, here's the thing. Occasionally, every couple of months or so, we run a Connect and Create Day where we actively invite people to come out of the online world and into the real world, so to speak, or the in-person world. And one of those days, Connect and Create, is happening on the 16th of March. So Kelly's going to pop the
it's in the link, it's in the comments, guys. So.
Great. And it's really your opportunity to meet people who are like-minded, and we say like-valued, that where you can come, connect to them, do some networking at the beginning, but then actually get your head down working on your business and actively get some feedback from Kelly or I on the stuff that you're working on. And it really does. I mean, the leaps and bounds that people make when they get together in that environment are just phenomenal.
Joint venture partners, creative, but just that, it's like a sounding board for your business, because we know many of you work alone. So it's really important to get, it's on Brian's birthday.
Oh, well, there you go. Fancy a trip down here from the far up north. That would be good. So if you can make it, it's a brilliant experience. If you're a seasoned person, there are at least 6 or 7 kind of that are regulars in the room. But we love to see new faces, because it really is about getting a different perspective on what you're up to. The other thing that we're sort of celebrating, that's a little bit of buzz, and is that the group has now been going for 2 and a bit years.
Yeah, just over 2 years.
Just over 2 years. And we have nearly 6,000 people in the group, all of whom are pretty much active. We are 70 people away from that. So if you know a speaker, author, or coach, because we love to celebrate a milestone, right? And so we love to get the balloons out.
We also give little prizes away to people that are at the milestones, but we'll keep that hush-hush.
I was just going to say, shh, Kelly. So really, if you know a speaker, author, or coach who could use some like-valued support, assistance, fun, joy, a place to share, a place to ask their questions, do invite them into the Connection Hub as well. And if you're not in there, obviously come over and play, because that's where the conversation can take place rather than us just simply teaching and kind of broadcasting. Yeah.
Good news, Brian is coming down to the Connect and Create from Blackpool.
Oh my gosh, good on you, Brian.
We'll get cake.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, somebody make a note.
I'm making it.
Good. And speaking of cake, it is Pancake Day today.
That was good.
I know. See what I did there? See what I did there? It's really good. So we hope you are making pancakes, whether they're vegan variety, whether they're savory variety, or indeed whether you're just a, plain old lemon and sugar or a Nutella and banana kind of style. So if you are planning to make any pancakes today, if you are planning to consume pancakes today, let us know. We don't want too many pictures, because honestly, Kelly's been sat over in the other side of the room going, oh my gosh,
I want pancakes.
So who knows, we might actually let ourselves do that. So now that we've got a bunch of you here, is there anything else?
Hi Joy and Joe and Tim and everyone, right?
That's
saying
great.
Hi, we love you all.
So today we're actually sharing out this Facebook Live not only into the Connection Hub, where we usually share it out, and into Changemaker Central, which is our membership for speakers, authors and coaches, but we're actually also sharing this out into the group of our very, very dear friend Karen. So because what we want to talk about, and where we've been, as I say, we've been up to Scotland. Yesterday was our dear friend's funeral, and it really starkly brings into context what we are up to. It's a reminder, a pure reminder to really live the life of your dreams, because some would say she's been taken too soon from us, but the impact, which was palpable in the room yesterday, the impact that one human can make on the world is absolutely amazing. And really, we thought this would be a great opportunity for us to ask you and help you understand how you might create your legacy, how you are going about it, how you might even not know right now that you are creating legacy, right? Because actually legacy is made with every action we take, with every Facebook Live that we do, with every program that you devise. Legacy absolutely happens in your presence, which is quite a weird thing to think about.
And for those of you that are in the hub, you would have seen when we got this news a few weeks ago that we shared an interview that we did with Karen Yates, just so you can see how she was a living embodiment of her work and how she has left a legacy, but she also left a legacy while she was alive.
That's right.
Not just waiting until she passed. And so
that's part of the invitation for us, for you to actually go, don't wait for people to talk about you when you've gone. Actually, what can you do today to actively engage with people and create that legacy? Because Karen was one of the most amazing examples of grabbing life by the horns and not being put off by something that required massive action. That was the whole purpose behind what she was doing. And in the doing of that, she really was one of the most positive, personally impacting people that we know. You would know when she was in a room.
You couldn't
For
help.
sure, right?
Whether it's her beautiful loud jackets her beaming light, or just the way that she was able to disseminate information to complex theories into really simple, actionable steps in beautiful diagrams is the way that she did it as well. But these are all things that what we talk about is what people are saying about you when you're not in the room. That's and they're describing you to other people. That's still part of your legacy, guys, right?
I completely agree. And so what's really interesting about that is that, as I say, we want to give you the opportunity to reflect on where are you at with that? Because by the very nature of you watching this, you have chosen to be a speaker, author or coach. And as I said earlier on, that's you standing up and standing for something. So we want to give you some thoughts about how you can actually strengthen that legacy piece. But just give you a little bit of context around what legacy used to be known as and what the world as it now stands really is using it for.
And think about this. If somebody said what Brian's just said about Karen, just think how that will make you feel. He just said, Karen was a good friend and my business coach and an amazing individual. My business and my charity would not be where it is today without Karen. So that's the type of impact and legacy that she's left on one person. Just here, we know it was many more.
Just one. Now, think about that. Think about the difference that Brian is now making. You don't know his business. You don't understand, sort of anything about that. But business and charity, what is the ripple effect of you on that one human, which then kind of, well, that's why I call you First Dominoes. But more on that at some some other point. So here's the thing. Legacy in its purest term used to be just about you leaving your inheritance behind. But now legacy is much more talked about as something that outlasts you, your legend, the thing that you leave behind, the thing that people say about you, as Kelly's just said. So if you think about that, that's about making a contribution to the changes, or changing things in some way, making a contribution that really lasts, making a difference in the legal system, making a difference in the life of somebody, actually mothering or fathering a child to an extent where they absolutely believe in themselves and go and do amazing things. Legacy can be tiny. Legacy can be huge, but the whole point about it is that legacy is about you doing something that allows people to experience life differently, hopefully positively. But there are also
there are people that have legacies that were negative legacies, right?
Exactly. And so part of this is that this is a call to go, are you managing your legacy? Because your legacy is partly your reputation.
Yeah.
So it's really this whole piece around be the change you wish to see and leaving the world better.
It's about managing, but it's about acknowledging and owning that legacy, because some people are just going around doing on autopilot and they're actually not aware of what people are saying about them or the impact that they're having, because they're just busy being busy.
Yeah,
right?
That's exactly it.
So this is the time for you to actually go, no, this is what Helena says, green flag and the sandlot. This is what I want to be known for. This is the impact. This is the change.
Yeah.
This is what I want to have as my reputation out there. And then making sure that you show up like that all the time.
Exactly. And so part of this is about you setting a standard for yourself and living to that standard and following the passion that you have, because somebody somewhere is going to benefit from that. We're taking that as read in this environment.
Yeah, we know that our avatar, you guys are awesome. You're doing stuff for good, not for bad.
Exactly.
So
we're just going to take that as a given. Now, here's the thing. You cannot know the impact of anything you do, because the tiniest word, the kindest compassion, a moment that happens can be the thing that makes the difference to somebody else's life. So, what's seen can't be unseen. What's known can't be unknown. So what if we held ourselves to the standard where we are kind and generous and curious about the world and hold a space for each other? Because I think the thing that the legacy, certainly as I experienced Karen, is she made a space for everybody. What I saw yesterday was she made a space for everyone to absolutely understand and believe in their own, my words, magnificence. She used to call it being yourself with passion and skill. And so she would see everybody and hold a space for everyone to do that in their way. And, that leads us into the quote that most people attribute to Maya Angelou. I won't go into all of that, but it's all good. But, she said in an interview, having read this elsewhere, I've learned that people will forget what you say. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Yeah. And that is really the testament. Imagine if somebody actively said that of you. Imagine if somebody held you in that esteem. Because really, you can talk at people all you like, but how you make them feel is the thing that helps them engage with you. So we're going to go through a little bit about how you can generate even more of that right here, right now, from the place that you're at. So judgments aside, judgments in the jar, as I say, as we're saying this, because we're calling all of you into this place.
And when we say this, really, when you're actually owning, managing, as we said, your legacy, you're then taking charge of a leadership position, right? Yes. You're in control. You know that you have that conscious awareness that you are that domino effect of actually, the ripple is happening to all the people around you, and you're owning that. Yeah. So, but we don't want to put loads of pressure on you.
No, please no.
Because legacy can come in two forms. You can have that personal legacy, where actually you can make this impact without having a business or a business plan
just
and all
by
the strategy.
Being you.
So that's something we want to look at.
Yeah.
And you do also then have the professional side. Yeah. Because as we said before, especially taking Karen as the example, there are things that can be making that impact wider and greater whilst you're still here. as well as when you're gone. So that legacy goes on.
Yeah.
What's
people are enjoying the whole how you make people feel.
Yeah, it's a really important thing. And even when I manage professional speakers, that's one of the things that we say to them is that you can have all the great content and, you know, all the great stuff on your slides, but actually what's the thing that's going to help them remember you afterwards? It's the fact that you acknowledged them, you made them feel, you really knew where they were, you empathized, and you gave them something that was actually really insightful for them to be able to do something with.
Yeah.
But you're not just a massive information and noise out there.
Yeah.
You're actually connecting with them heart to heart, emotionally, on purpose,
completely,
on brand,
completely.
Right? What, do I need to read
No,
anything?
no. I'm simply smiling, Brian. It's a beautiful little story, and if you get a chance,
read that,
you'll just let everyone read that. It's beautiful.
So let's just do a little check-in on the personal side of things. So people that are early on in their journey and they haven't got all the business stuff set up yet for the legacy side.
Yeah.
Let's just make sure that you are really sure on what you believe in. So these are your values.
Yeah, completely.
So this is how you show up effortlessly, because your values actually are your drivers.
Yeah, that's right.
They happen on autopilot.
Yeah.
But you just, you know, there are good things to do, like Barrett values test. I can put links in later if you're not sure what your values are. Via character, via strengths. These are things you can do to really actually start acknowledging, this is me. This is who I am. This is what I stand for.
Well, and the acknowledgement and the owning piece, there may be a gap in between that, and that's okay. But actually beginning to realize what you stand for, what's important to you, because really that's what our values are. Those pieces then become the recipe for how you show up in the world. Because if one of the things that's important to you is generosity, as it was for Karen, then how does that translate into behavior? So your values absolutely directly can translate into the behaviors, which is about how people then feel in your presence doing that behavior.
So the other point around this with the values and what your passions and your beliefs are is also to look at it from the flip side. So what is it that you stand for? Yeah. This is also good to know, because this is just a personal point of view. There might be some things that you really, as soon as you read something or watch something on the news, that something gets triggered in you and you feel like you have to voice something. You have to be an advocate for somebody else. Yeah. There's something that you want to change in the world. There's something that you're really passionate about. So understanding what you stand for, what your personal values and your interests and your purpose.
That's right.
We have a purpose course that helps you understand all this side of things. Yeah. But that has actually, I mean, if you just look at Greta, for example, right? Yeah. She's a personal example, a great example of this, of someone that's got this personal stand.
You know, to the extent where I'm sure all of you know that we're talking about Greta Thunberg, who, you know, who basically skipped school every Friday to go and lobby Parliament at the age of 50, you know, well, at the age of 13, but, you know, coming into now, being an advocate for the environment, for absolutely taking it on and not giving it to somebody else, but actually going, this is so important and vital to me that I will buck the rules and do whatever it takes to do that. That's definitely an example of what you stand for. So it's the thing that you can't leave as it is. Yeah. It's the thing that absolutely that's right. It's the thing that galvanizes you into action. So you may already have something like that, or it may simply be. So we're not saying you need to have this, but it could be the thing that moves in. Go on,
Brian. Just Tim, says this setup looks like this morning. We're not Holly and Phil.
Hang on a minute. Okay. Moving on.
You've got the boobies.
Shush. Honestly, she gets that.
So Tim's message here, and we know that just telling people information will change only a few. For most people, change is more complex than that. On the big scale, change comes from tipping points of numbers of kind, insightful people. That's exactly what that quote comes back to. So the other thing about the personal side, we're talking about beliefs, we're talking about what you stand for, but the other thing to really consider, and I think a lot of people miss this, is actually your personal reputation that's out there.
Entirely.
So what are people saying currently about you when you're not in the room? Yes. Right? How do people introduce you to other people? What do they say about you? Just like what we were saying about Karen and what Brian said about Karen. Yeah. You know, that's just about what's the impression that you're leaving?
Exactly.
And there's key words here. And actually, sometimes people do this as a market research thing. They put on their personal profile, describe me in a few words, or what's the thing that how would you describe me to somebody else? And I think that's quite an insightful exercise to do.
It really is.
One, with the people that you know, because there's friends that you know you really well, but sometimes you have this, I've got like whatever 5,000 friends on Facebook. I haven't met you all.
Yeah.
So some of you have just got that impression of me from being a remote friend, right? So you can get to see, what do people really think about you and describe you?
And I have to say, so I'm going to circle back around to the Connect and Create days. One of the very first Connect and Create days that we did, we had at least 3 people in the room like come up to us and go, and literally continue a conversation, because they felt like they already knew us, and we were obviously doing a does what it says on the tin. We showed up in the room like we show up here, and they just continued the conversation, and we were like, can you just tell us who you are?
Well, you can see us, but we can't see you.
It was this whole, wow, we've gotten to know you. And so that's the piece that is the what you believe and how you show up piece that then comes into, and how is your reputation managed? Part of that is are you a does what it says on the tin person? Yeah. So your values made live and in action absolutely help you safeguard that reputation.
100%.
But also, if you want to be a stand for particular values, if you want to be, so my sister is one of the most morally ethical people I know, and she does what is right. Sort of whether I think that's right or wrong, she absolutely sticks to her guns on that. And it's that kind of conviction that you can absolutely have that allows your reputation to grow. Because I used to work at TGI Fridays, and honestly, they used to say, you would cut me open and I'd bleed red and white. They had red and white awnings outside. But, it's that piece that is the...
Are you a living embodiment?
Are you a living embodiment is a really good way to think about this personal element of legacy.
And so, that's one of the things that people think, Taruna, that, oh my God, I hope it's nice what people are saying about me, right? And so that's the type of thing to check in, because you're not always going to hear that feedback.
Yeah.
But if you're inconsistent, I think inconsistency is one of the most damaging things for someone's reputation.
It makes people not trust you.
Yeah.
They don't quite know where they stand, so they hang back a little.
Or they think you're flippant. And when you're in a stage that we think most of our audience are, where you're speakers, authors and coaches, you're in a position of leadership already. People are looking to you for guidance. They're looking for you for authority. They're looking for you for that confidence and clarity and conviction.
Yeah.
And if you are a wavering flag in the wind, where you're one day saying this, another topic over here, and that you don't have that gravitas, right? But also, it's what Helena was saying, and it's that plus your personality.
Yes.
So like Brian's just said here, people will never forget me when I walk into a room, and we know that about you, Brian,
we do know that about you.
But that's because what we want you to do is also honour your uniqueness.
Exactly.
Honour your values, your personality, and bring that in to who you help and your message.
No one can do what you do.
Andrea's a Gobby Northern
bird.
Right?
There it is. Absolutely.
But this is going to be we were having a conversation with a professional earlier on an interview.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. We want you to be you.
Yeah.
We don't want you to be vanilla, where you try and please everybody.
No.
We want you to be Marmite, where some people gravitate towards you and some people don't.
People need to choose you, and people come in all shapes and sizes and kind of, have preferences. And so actually, what if this is just a pure permission to be you, do you, as you, out in the world, fighting for, and I use that word lightly and wisely, fighting for the thing that you want to see the change of. Yeah. That's really what we're talking about.
And then just for the final thing, for the personal, is just ask yourself this conversation. If you did die tomorrow, would there be things about you that people don't know that you'd actually really want them to know, right? Have you got those interests or abilities or skills or desires that you actually haven't made public yet?
Yeah.
Because that's really important. I mean, with Karen, she made everything most public. There were even a couple of things at the service yesterday where she used to juggle before she used to run her events to help her calm down and stuff. And some people didn't know that.
Yeah.
So that's fine, because they're just little things.
Yeah, they're tiny
but
things.
was there a big burning desire?
Big burning dream.
Which you didn't fulfill, which you didn't tell anyone about.
Yeah. Taruna's is
what
great.
She's saying, I'm consistent, and what you see is what you get. Having been described as a rocket pocket by my client made my day.
It's really great, right?
That.
But, and here's the thing, Taruna, Now, here's how to manage your reputation. I'm just going to give you an added bonus here. So people will 9 times out of 10, if you're showing up consistently, as Kelly's just said, people, pretty much start to trust you or trust you instantaneously, depending on how they're built. But what's really interesting is that they then have no reason not to believe you when you say, Taruna, out loud many times, people call me a rocket pocket, because actually they hear that, they catch it, it's unique enough, and they start saying that. And trust me, I've got serious, experience of actively putting the words I want to hear spoken about me into others' mouths, and they just go and naturally do it. So people will naturally believe you if you are consistent and authentic, and you have something that you wish to share out in the world.
And they feel how much you care.
Exactly.
And you want to help, right? It's not just a...
And that's a massive word there, the care piece. So
that's about the personal side of things, right? What we also want to make sure and raise your awareness is building the professional side of things. Yeah. Because the professional side of things is that actually what carries that legacy on after you've gone. Yeah. But it also helps you expand and reach and get the message out there while you're still here.
Yes.
So there are things that can be working on your behalf. Interesting. Tim's got the question mark, pocket rocket.
Yeah.
So he's actually questioning Taruna, what does that mean? And I didn't want to go on a tangent.
Yeah.
But so you need to then, pocket rocket doesn't mean anything to me as a coach.
Yeah.
If you said I was a coach in my pocket that gave my business a rocket, then that's something different,
exactly.
right? I understand what you do. So,
and this is what we're talking about, just around the feedback piece, right?
So let's go into the professional side of things. Yeah. This is what you leave behind. This is the tangible legacy side of things. The professional is more the feeling, the impression. Yep. This is the tangible stuff.
The personal is more the feeling.
Sorry, Tim, you're right. I typed it incorrectly. Perfect. Yeah. Okay. So what products have you got? Yeah. What products are there that hold your vision, your message, your impact, the key things that you stand for, the ways that you can help people? Obviously, we've got the standard things here of like your books, your online courses, the way that you teach, your coaching programs, all those types of things are out there.
Even your merchandise.
Even your merchandise.
Sorry, right? It's there in my hand.
So all these things are actually there as tangible things that people can pick up at any time.
Correct.
Without you physically having to either swap time for money or even be in existence on this planet.
Yes.
We teach a lot of you to create your own intellectual property, right? These are your unique frameworks, your unique methodologies, the way that you've actually molded your content, your processes to be unique to you. Yeah. Normally they're in sync with your own life lessons, your learning, your own skills, your courses, and we know that really there isn't much new information out there in the world.
There really isn't.
It's just how you package it and make it yours and message it differently.
Yeah.
So in that respect, we want you to create these unique frameworks that are the lasting impressions in the world. Mm-hmm. We take the great example of Stephen Covey and his 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That's his unique framework. That's his intellectual property.
That phrase is pretty much known by the world.
And why? There was a book about it. He's trademarked the principle. He's got his, not just his son, but training programs, licensing models that go out into schools, into universities, into corporates. Yeah. So this message is going on and even growing bigger than now than when he was alive. Yeah. Because this is something which can be taught, and the ethos and the methodology behind it was there, solid, documented, trained, so that it could live on.
And what's interesting about that is that as soon as it started going into motion, people started applying it, the results start to speak for themselves.
Snowball effect,
so it's that little piece that actually then reinforces that reputation, that professional kind of use of this tool that's out in the world.
So you might also, we've got the tangible products like the books, the online courses and stuff. You've got the IP, which is actually your intellectual property. Yeah. You've got potentially the communities that you've built, right? So as we're streaming today into Karen's Ideas into Actions Club, right? She's built communities of entrepreneurs that want to turn their ideas into action. Mm-hmm. And this is going to continue without her, right?
Completely.
So because this community is so solid now, that they've already got their connections, they've already connected, they're going to keep on going.
Yeah.
So what communities are you creating that could live up with build your, like our Connection Hub, as we said, are nearly 6,000 members in a couple of years. Complete organic growth at the moment.
Totally.
And so that will just keep on growing and expanding our reach while we're here. But there's no reason why, if God forsake anything happens, it wouldn't still continue without us. Okay. So what's the community impacts? How are you enabling others to use your information and train the trainer? Have licensing programs.
That's it.
Allow other people to access your IP.
Exactly.
To make that grow and continue on afterwards.
Exactly.
The other thing that is sometimes people don't consider is actually people will leave physical buildings behind, right? So that's actually something that you might actually want to create a centre. I know lots of people, their purpose is to build schools and hospitals and things like that around their mission.
Correct.
You know, training centres, etc. So it could be the actual, not just the community you build, but the physical building.
The actual spaces. You know, if you think about it, how many buildings do you walk past that are called the name of someone,
or they have
the founders, the blue plaques? If you're walking around London, you'll see blue plaques everywhere, brown plaques too. And it's so there's something here about, we impact our environment, we create from nothing, and we leave behind something. That in its essence is what we're talking about here. But that can be physical, that can be mental, that can be emotional, and dare I say it, even spiritual.
And so the other thing to think about is potentially the movement that you start, the movement that you make. And so that could be that, even with, oh my God, I've completely forgot, Caroline Flack, for example, right?
Completely.
Who unfortunately took her life.
I had a massive conversation with somebody about this yesterday.
Okay. But the movement that is being enforced in her name, in her honour, you could have laws that are changed. You could have regulations that are changed because
Susie
of the work that you did.
Changed the law.
Right? So that, and even when we were looking with Karen yesterday, when we were hearing about her days in the NHS, she actually basically had associate positions created in the NHS due to the work that she did. Right?
They didn't exist before. They didn't exist before, but this as a whole way of going in and changing how the NHS is doing it. Karen and Joe were very much responsible for taking that idea, turning it into action, and it is now implemented and a normal thing.
It's the given thing,
so,
isn't it?
And so that's what we're inviting you to do at the size and scale at which you wish to do that.
And this also could be in the form of a charity.
Completely.
I know a lot of people want to do this, and just looking at Brian's comment here. So he's opening a recovery hub to support individuals in recovering from addiction and mental health to set up their own businesses, right?
It's amazing.
So these are the types of things that we want you to get in touch with. Why you? Why are you being the living embodiment? What's the impact that you're personally having on people when you're showing up every day? And then how are you allowing that impact to expand through products and services, live on without you through IP and training, and leave that green flag in the sand, that solid mark, whether that's a movement, a charity, just that whole message, I call it your footprint. Right? So what's the footprint that you're leaving on the earth that is that positive impact that you've made that goes back to you and is recognised?
And if you want to do some guided thinking around this, I am actually going to say this partly because I had a giggle with somebody yesterday. There is a training in our recorded trainings called Known for Seen As, and it was something that, it's something I've used with clients for years and years, and Karen and I used to spend quite a lot of time doing it. What transpired yesterday was the last blog that she wrote was, what do you want to be known for? so because she and I had been doing some Monday Momentums in her group, and it was one of the very last Momentums that we'd done. So we actually talked about this element of it. So if you want to actually take charge of that reputation, personally and professionally, the what do you want to be, the Known for Seen As training that we've got is a really useful one. So we'll
just go to the recorded trainings in the Connection Hub, but I'll also put a link in after this too.
So we'll do that. So here's the thing. Really, there are some core elements that you can harness that you already have. I promise you've already got it, that you have that is an answer to the question of what does it take to leave a legacy, right? And they are personal qualities. So whilst Kelly has outlined what you can do, it still takes personal qualities. It takes those ideas and qualities and putting them into action that creates what Kelly's just been talking about. So the very first thing, and we've hinted at this, but I'm going to make it really emphatic, is this. You need a passion or a desire for change, a drive for growth in some way. Your interest, your needs, your passion, your peeves, the things that you get really...
Right?
Exactly. Sort of everything that drives you towards being different, changing things, being present, being allowed, being acknowledged. Your passion is a component of legacy. Mm-hmm. The thing that you are interested in, intrigued by, curious about, angry about, anything, you get the idea here. This is the emotional context that drives your behavior, that makes you either so excited or so peeved. Obviously, I could use different words at this point.
Legacy isn't about seeing an opportunity in a market space.
Oh my God, no.
And creating a business around it, right? That's not legacy. That's
because it's too hard. Like, here's the thing, right? Creating a business is, we were literally saying this in the Professional Insight that we were doing an interview with someone on. Being an entrepreneur isn't easy, and it absolutely, therefore, must be driven by the emotional context of what you are putting into it. Because
your alignment with your why and your purpose.
You will run out of steam otherwise if you're just seeing it as an opportunity. So we'll say that. So that's the first thing. Your passion and your desire for change or growth is absolutely a key component of leaving a legacy. The second piece is commitment. So the thing about this is that once you've tapped into that fire in your belly, as we've just been talking about, it's then about you committing to it and actually doing what it takes to get that vision out in the world as a real thing, whatever that means, whether it is a book, a product, an IP, a whole way of doing things, the change in the law, etc. All of those things we've just talked about. But it's all about your commitment, about what are you willing to do that upholds this, that puts the foundations in place so that this has a life of its own. Because a legacy, if you really think about it, was your idea that's turned into an entity and an ethos of its own.
So if you've got this, we don't want your legacy to be a dream that's never actualized.
Not at all.
So with this, you need to have the tangible elements of what does that look like.
That's right.
When it is manifested.
Yeah.
You need to
That's
think
vision.
Yeah, so you need to think about that and actually map it out.
Yeah.
But it also is about getting out of your own way.
Completely.
Because sometimes we think, am I good enough to have
Yeah.
this as my legacy? Am I the right person? So this is
Yes.
actually
Yes.
But it's busting those excuses and it's doing the work on yourself. And actually, if you watch any of our training about how to be an expert, you'll understand that because you're on this journey and watching this anyway, you're already there.
That's
you're
right.
already 1 or 2 steps ahead of everybody else.
And that's our encouragement then, because part of commitment is you must speak about it, you must write about it, you must teach about it, which is why we work with speakers, authors and coaches. Because this is the whole point about this is that you must educate, inform, change, create that movement, if you like, behind the thing that you're standing for. What have you got there?
Apparently we stand for accountability because there's people saying here that they need to hear us on a regular basis. They forget that and then we need to remind you, we do a lot of tactical training about stuff.
Yeah.
But actually this is the stuff that drives all the tactical things. It's getting that passion ignited again, reminding you why you're doing this. Taruna's saying, yes, it is hard, but without this, this is what ignites that fire.
Agreed.
Okay? So we're saying about that commitment, that and actually getting out of your own way. Because if you focus on serving, all those excuses
everything
go
else
out the
falls
window.
away. Because actually, if you focus on serving and you focus on the vision, so once you have actually kind of tapped into the fire in your belly, got that purpose set, you then turn it into the vision of what it could be and the change that it could make. That drives, that strengthens the commitment. It's then about actually showing up consistently, which we've already kind of talked about.
And I'm just going to answer Taruna's question.
Sure.
She says, does my book count as part of my legacy?
Hell
yes.
yes.
Right? That's going back to what we said about the professional things. That's one of those tangible products that's there as an imprint and it's there for people to access.
That's it.
At any time.
Yeah, so the consistency piece is really about you being, and we've said this before, that living embodiment of what it is. It's you bringing all your strengths, all your qualities to the mission that you have. And yes, I'm going to call it a mission. I'm going to call you into that place where you go, this is what I believe in, because that's really what your legacy is. It's what you believe in and what you see is possible for another or the world or whatever in between step there actually is. You know, again, whatever size and shape of the legacy that you leave, you get to choose that. But it's about you using the skills, the strengths, the talents that you have and showing up consistently. So when I called you to, you must speak, write and teach it, it's about you role modeling how you do that piece, right? And then the final piece, two final pieces, because one sits underneath, one is the bedrock of all of them. But so passion and a drive, right? That's the first thing. Your commitment, then your consistency and the belief. Because this is what Kelly's just been saying, you know, there is such a lot of naysaying that happens inside of us that keeps our dreams tiny. Or that keeps our dreams fully hidden
completely
in some
secret.
ways. Yeah, totally. And then that's where regret begins. So we don't want you to do that. So sometimes it's about actually understanding that I've got the passion. I'm going to commit to it. I'm going to show up consistently and actively I'm going to learn to believe in this, or I believe in it. But one of the things you can do to support yourself around that is find people who believe in it too and avoid the people who don't believe in it, because actively you need to nurture this space that you are holding for others, because legacy is about holding a space for change to happen.
And we really emphasize the fact that we don't want you to do this alone.
No.
This is why all of our groups were
Truly.
created, right? When you are that change maker, that torch bearer, we need you to have the support in order to support the other people.
Yeah.
And that's really what our role is, to support all those change makers out there, so that we've got your back, because we know you're going to have hundreds of other people's backs.
We are the safety net that sits underneath the speaker, author, coach business. So that leads me on to the fifth one, which is about courage. So if you can imagine, you know, it's a bit like being a trapeze artist. You know, everybody's looking up there and going, ooh, at the book, the licensing, the show and everything that's going on. But you also want to have those sturdy rods that are going to stand strong. You want that. Oh man, I just saw it. I'll tell you that afterwards.
Okay. You want the balancing rod as well that helps you.
And this is it. Well, I'm actually thinking about, you know, when you climb up the ladder, you need someone to be supporting, you know, those ladder pieces. Who are your people that do that? What Kelly and I are for so many of the change makers that we work for, we're the safety net tied to those very strong poles. We help you put those poles in place so you can climb and actually do the show up there and be that change in the world. But we're here on the ground making sure that it's safe and you're orchestrated and you know what to do.
And that it's okay to fall.
Exactly.
Because nobody does this perfectly the first time round.
And that's it.
And it's just a learning curve. But as long as you've got that support in place, that people are your cheerleaders, your champions.
And the thing about this is so that final quality that I was about to say is about courage. You know, it is about your courage, but partly having that in place gives you permission to be courageous. Because here's the thing, when you are Marmite, people will argue with you. People will go, no, that is not right. They will take 180-degree kind of, no, it is absolutely wrong for you to be a stand for this. But your job is to be a stand for the thing that you believe in. And so it's really to stay the course, exactly, and be that vision holder, whatever is happening. So we plant the flag, we plant those poles really strongly in the ground.
So just take some time after this live, whenever you've got...
We're on a bit of a one, can you tell?
We're actually knackered, right? We got to bed at 1:30. We're emotionally drained, but we can tell that we know that this is what matters, passion. Right?
Yeah.
So mate, take some time out to just look at these steps and look at where you're at on your creating your legacy journey.
Yeah.
Are you at the first stage where you're just dreaming? You're thinking of, and this is you need to start here, right?
Yeah.
You need to think big. You need to think, well, it doesn't have to be massive, but you need to think what's big for you. What's the stretch that you're going to do differently tomorrow
every time,
or the next day that you're not currently doing at the moment,
Yeah.
okay? What's that? Are you doing what that fire in your belly, your heart's desire, what you want to be known for?
Yeah.
And then start mapping out, what does that look like when that's tangible?
Yeah.
How could that look different next month than it does today, just to get that little bit more of a stretch, to get it out there a little bit more?
Yeah.
So dream, get emotionally connected,
Yeah.
and then look at how you're going to start making it a little bit more tangible, so it doesn't stay a dream, it becomes a reality.
Yeah.
Then plan,
Yeah.
right? Always, we're strategy queens, right?
Yeah.
But plan, what do you need
completely.
to get you there, to make it more tangible? Is it more support? Is it more resources? Is it
Yeah.
more marketing? Is it more time to actually evaluate this?
Yeah.
Plan out small steps to keep on making this
That's
a
it.
reality.
That's it.
Then, as we've said before, just like our lovely Faye and Karen did every day,
Yeah.
live.
Yeah.
Live what this legacy is. Doesn't mean you have to have all the products in
Yeah.
place at the moment, but show up with the reputation, with the intention,
With the
the
willingness.
purpose
Yeah.
of what you want to leave behind,
Yeah.
so that people start talking about you, how you want to be
That's right.
represented
Once
right
you're
now.
around,
Yeah,
because
right
how
now.
much would you like to hear that anyway, right?
And then this is one of the other things that I think people miss in the legacy step,
Hell yes.
is you don't share it enough, okay? So legacy,
Hang on, say it again.
you don't share
You
it.
really don't.
So you don't tell enough people about it. You don't market it. You think, when we're talking about people writing their bios, their speaker bios, their author bios, they have their CV side of things, but they often miss out. Why are they doing this? Why are they so passionate about this subject?
Yeah.
And that's the bit that makes the emotional connection
Yeah.
to the audience.
It was
right?
really funny. I literally, so as part of our Changemaker program, we give people feedback every Friday on a particular thing. And I was reading somebody's bio and it was like, oh my God, you've totally missed the bit where I want to care about it in the way that you care about it. So that's what we're calling you to here.
Yeah,
and they got it. They got the feedback.
We often get this feedback that, oh my God, you're more passionate about my stuff than I am.
Yes.
That's not the feedback you want.
You
right?
really don't want that. You want to be seen as the person who's holding the banner for that, right?
And so that's about sharing it. So just make sure that the more that you put stuff out there,
Yeah.
the compounding effect happens, and
Yeah.
you never know who's listening, right?
That's
You
right.
never know who can contribute to your
Yeah.
legacy.
And you never know what tiny thing you share that might be the difference that makes the difference. Bless Caroline Flack. She can't see right now the impact that she has had in this way, and yet that's amazing.
Yeah.
So it's
But
that.
let's not take
Yeah.
something tragic.
No,
for,
not at all. Not at all.
But it's important, right?
But it's important. It really is.
And so I just want to highlight the last
Yeah.
stage, right? And this is what we've already alluded to it.
Yeah.
But the last stage is the support, okay? So ask for support.
Sure.
It's a tough responsibility being a change maker, being in a leadership role, being
Yeah.
this person with a big legacy,
Yeah.
which most of you have. You want to make quite a significant impact.
You do.
Don't do it alone, okay? So who can collaborate with you? Who
Yeah.
can be that safety net, as
Yeah.
Helena used that analogy? But you're also supporting others.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the ripple effect, the domino effect that we're speaking about.
Yeah.
So just make sure that you're connected to this. And
Yeah.
I know, Fiona, you just said that you just joined us, and Brian's already given you the heads up that you can watch the replay from the beginning, because it's
It it's
honours
in your
a lot
group.
of what you spoke about yesterday.
Yeah, it really did.
But and Brian's already booked for the tickets. So
Yeah.
we'll look forward to seeing you on your birthday, and we'll celebrate with you then.
Completely.
So just make sure: dream, plan, live, share, and support.
Yeah.
They're the stages, and just highlight at the moment, where are you at?
Yes.
Where do you need to do a little bit more work on
Yes.
your legacy? And ask us. Come into the Connection Hub, put some comments under this video.
Yeah.
Ask us for support, and
Yeah.
we'll see how we can support you.
Because the thing is that actually every legacy isn't created by one person. It's created by a thought that one person has, and it's then executed by the many. And so that's our urging for you. You're in charge of your reputation. You're in charge of your legacy. Get going right now.
Start living it today.
Many blessings.
Have a great week, everyone.